Lavender once carried the sweetest meaning for me. It was Sarah, her shampoo, the way her clothes smelled fresh from the wash, the faint trace of her perfume on my pillow. That scent was my home. But now the smallest hint of it makes my stomach tighten. It's a cruel reminder of everything she ruined. I never thought of myself as someone prone to melodrama, but when your life collapses like mine did, you earn the right to sound theatrical. We'd been married 7 years. 7 years of laughter filling our little house, of warm mornings over coffee, of arguments about bills and chores that always ended with us finding our way back to each other. No fairy tale romance, but something real, steady, built on love and mutual respect, or so I believed. Looking back, the first cracks appeared when she began to drift away. Sarah seemed restless, distracted, her spark dulled and replaced with a strange nervous energy. She started coming home late, claiming endless meetings at work. Her words were rehearsed, almost too neat. And though she thought she fooled me, I noticed. My gut twisted every time she offered those polished excuses. One night, I stumbled on a message on her phone. Just a harmless "see you later," followed by a name I didn't know. Innocent to anyone else, but I felt the intimacy behind it like a punch in the chest. I confronted her with trembling hands, holding up the phone like evidence in a trial. She brushed me off, called me paranoid, even ridiculous. Yet I caught it. The flicker of guilt in her eyes, the tiny twitch at her lips. Those micro-expressions betrayed her. From then on, I watched her closely. I noticed the new perfume, the extra care she put into her appearance, the way her whole body tensed when her phone buzzed. I became a shadow in my own home, silently cataloging the unraveling of my life. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Lying next to her in bed, I felt the distance grow wider than any ocean. At night, I stared at her profile in the dark, wondering if she still saw me, or if she was already gone. Eventually, I dug deeper, and the truth cut sharper than any blade. The meetings weren't with her boss. They were with Marcus, a bodybuilder she met at a gym. I found his pictures online, all muscles and arrogance, a grin that reeked of smugness. The simple text was only the first thread. Soon I had the whole rotten tapestry, explicit messages, vulgar exchanges, whispered promises of stolen nights. Everything she'd done lay bare in black and white. The knowledge hollowed me out. I felt a cold fury take root, a quiet, patient rage. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. Instead, I began to plan. I wore the mask of ignorance, kept up the routines, morning coffee, small talk, even intimacy that felt more like performance than affection. But behind the scenes, I was moving pieces into place. I opened a separate account, siphoning off money bit by bit. I made sure my name covered every asset, every important document, while hers quietly disappeared. I consulted a lawyer, understood the laws, and mapped every step. My anger was a fuse, slow and deliberate, leading to the inevitable explosion. The moment came on our anniversary. She had bought a new dress, a revealing red number that looked better suited for Marcus than me. I booked a table at the restaurant where we'd first fallen in love. The setting was perfect, romantic, nostalgic, disarming. She smiled nervously across the table, perhaps sensing the storm she had brewed. I returned her look with a thin smile, cold and sharp. "I have a surprise for you, Sarah," I said evenly, sliding an envelope across the table. Her eyes lit up as she reached for it. She thought it was jewelry or a trip. Instead, she pulled out divorce papers. I watched her face drain of color, her lips trembling as she whispered, "Baby, what is this?" "It's over, Sarah," I said, my voice colder than ice. "I know about Marcus. I know everything." She tried, of course, denials, excuses, her well-practiced lies flowing with ease. But I shut her down with proof. Screenshots, dates, photos. Every detail I had quietly collected. I explained it all. The money I'd moved, the assets I'd secured, the trap I had laid while she thought I was blind. She wasn't just losing me. She was losing everything. "You thought you were clever," I told her, my voice low with fury. "But you forgot one thing. I was paying attention." Her expression shifted from arrogance to terror as the truth sank in. She had risked our life together for cheap thrills, and now she was left with nothing. That night, I drove her home in silence. I didn't glance her way. Once there, I packed my things methodically while she stood frozen in her red dress, tears streaking her face. I left her behind without looking back. I rented a small apartment nearby, not far enough for her to forget me. I wanted her to see me occasionally, a reminder of what she'd destroyed. I sold the house. The money was mine. She was left with scraps. Time passed, and I rebuilt piece by piece. I exercised, reconnected with old friends, rediscovered the life she had buried. Meanwhile, she spiraled. Word spread. Marcus had abandoned her. She couldn't afford her own place and was reduced to crashing on a friend's couch. Eventually, a mutual friend told me she wanted to see me. She was desperate. Against my better judgment, I agreed. Not for reconciliation, but for closure. When I saw her at the coffee shop, I barely recognized her. The woman who once shone like sunlight was gone, replaced by someone hollow, broken, and gray. The moment her eyes met mine, she collapsed into tears, falling to her knees in front of everyone. She begged, pleaded, swore she was sorry, that she loved me, that she'd made a mistake. I let her cry. I stood there, expressionless, listening to her desperate words crumble into nothing. When she finally choked out another apology, I gave her my answer. "It's too late, Sarah," I said calmly, my voice stripped of emotion. "Some mistakes can't be undone. You chose this. Now live with it." Then I turned my back and walked out, leaving her sobbing on the cafe floor, surrounded by strangers. I didn't feel pity. I didn't feel regret. Only a deep, quiet satisfaction. My revenge was complete, and it was every bit as sweet as I had hoped. Even now, when I catch the faint scent of lavender on the breeze, it no longer hurts. It no longer drags me down. It's just a reminder that betrayal has consequences, and sometimes the best revenge isn't just moving on. It's making sure the one who betrayed you is left with nothing.